Hey, I'm Broxy, and we're here at Woodhill today to test the Sportspro project bike. Sportspro Racing has had a long relationship with Suzuki New Zealand. We're sponsoring their race team around New Zealand here, and so the bike of choice today is a RM-Z450 and a 2012 model. The truth is that most of these motocross bikes here, they're called motocross bikes, but in New Zealand you're going to see most of the population are using these kind of bikes in the trails and in the woods, and so they're just a really diverse bike that you can use anywhere you want to go, anywhere you want to ride. If you want to look good when you're out on the trails, there's a few other little bling bits on this bike as well. You've got the Scar accessories. There's one for the clutch cable down the bottom there. You've got a tricky looking little stem nut up the top here that requires a special tool to get it off, just in case someone wants to steal your triple clamp. But also on your axle spacers down the bottom there, and a little knick-knack on the bottom of the brake. So just some of the aesthetic things that you can buy for this bike to keep it looking good and shining for the ladies. So for those of you that don't know, Sportspro is one of the leading distributors for motorcycle parts in New Zealand, and they bring in such things as you can see here on this bike. Starting off with the FMF 4.1 exhaust. This one here has the stainless steel header pipe with a mega bomb, as well as a titanium muffler and a carbon end cap. The main reason for the titanium and carbon is it shaves a few pounds off the overall weight of the exhaust, and which is always going to be helpful out in the trails. Also down just a little bit lower, you've got the Boysen supercooler water pump. Now this is quite a big thing for those trails, especially when you're getting in amongst that tight stuff. So you don't want your bike to overheat. This has a special way of being able to pump the water around without getting too much air involved, and it helps you to keep your bike nice and cool. It's going to help it stop any overheating worries. That's coupled with the factory effects water hoses here. They're a special kind of a high-end silicone. It makes it super smooth for the water to get through the into the radiators, stops any kind of friction, and just helps keeping it nice and cool. The ignition mapping on it is quite a rich setting, which is designed to try and mellow it down a bit. To be honest, I wasn't too sure what it was going to be like, but I was surprised because this bike was really easy to ride. Yeah, it wasn't trying to pull my arms out, and it had a lot of boogie. Probably a combination to do with the exhaust, which is quite a large hole in the end and quite loud, but it's more of a powerful kind of sound rather than a bark, and you can feel it out on the tracks. And when you're out amongst the sand, it's really powerful sapping, and especially when it's a little bit wetter sand like this. And so this thing had no problem at all. I was really stoked with how powerful it was, but how easy it was to ride like that. I quite liked the setting that he had on his ignition mapping, and I think that most riders on a 450 would probably be best off to go with something like that. Be quite easy to do as well. Some of the other things that I noticed on the bike, just in the general feel of it, the foot pegs were great, really nice and wide and grunty. Plenty of grip on there, no problems at all. It's just pretty much a standard 2012 RM-Z450. So you know you're going to get those features that you normally get on one of these bikes. But so far as the Sportspro products go on it, you've got the Scott handlebar grips there. Underneath those grips is where something I really enjoyed came up, a bit of the magic, I guess. The RM-Z450 has a really light clutch, and one that works really well. And combined with that roller bearing throttle tube that he's got on this bike, it made the whole bike feel really light because everything was really sensitive but without being scary. And I found that you could be really accurate on the throttle when you needed to pop it over some roots or a slippery tree or something, and it wasn't going to give yourself arm pump or anything from having to hang on so hard. So that was quite a surprise to me. I really enjoyed that, those roller bearings on the throttle tube and the bike in general. It was good. This bike that we're testing today here at Woodhill is at home right here. The owner is Reese from Sportspro, and he does a lot of sort of trial riding, and he might spend a little bit of an excursion onto the motocross track, but this is basically where he lives. So what he's done is he's customized it to help him out on those trails as much as possible. These are all things that you can get from your local dealer, and they include scar foot pegs, nice and wide kind of a grip, and real spiky there for your feet to make sure they stay on the pegs when you're getting a little bit out of control or hitting something that's a little bit slippery. And another thing that he's got also is his gripper seat cover, and that's a factory fix unit. Comes with Kevlar along the side, as well as the rubber along the top for plenty of grip. And just to go with the overall look of the factory fix graphics kit. Speaking of which, that's a custom built thing that he's got organised from America. They have a turnaround of around about a week where you can organise your own decals, your own numbers, any kind of sponsors that you want to put on the side. Your local dealer will be able to sort you out with setting yourself up with some mean looking graphics. So there's a snapshot of what you might be able to do to your own bike. If you'd like to go online, you can check out some of the options at www.sportspro.co.nz and go down to your local dealer and hook yourself up.